and welcome to the Schooner Pod post-spring stuff. The draft has come and gone. The spring is long gone by now. And we're here to kind of talk about it before we hit that long, dark stretch where the offseason truly is quite an offseason. With me today, as always, we've got Jameson, we got Ty. And guys, let's just start off with an event that is kind of long forgotten, but still the last morsel of OU football we have until August, the spring game. Jameson, your initial thoughts on, well, not initial, they've been marinating for like 2 weeks. Your thoughts on the spring game and, really just, God, what a joke. What a mess.
Yeah, it was probably one of the most uneventful and sad spring games ever. If anyone was watching or saw the game, I had no idea what the score was doing. It would randomly change just throughout the game for no good reason. I'm sure there's some kind of like thing behind the scenes, how they do it in practice, certain amount, like a certain achievement gets you a point. But typical rules of football were completely thrown in the trash. I had no idea what was going on. People are changing teams throughout as well. This was not the spring game that we usually know.
Yeah, spring games are usually pretty low effort, but this was remarkably so. Ty, you and I actually sat next to each other at this one, so we kind of chit-chatted a bit about it, but were you underwhelmed by the spring game?
I was. I've never been to one, so I thought it was pretty disappointing from what I was expecting, but I didn't really have a frame of reference to base it on, but yeah,
and it just was. It was over in an hour. It was only one half, really. No halftime to really drag it out more than it needed to be. It was just a real quick game, in and out, and then you go back to Campus Corner, keep drinking, doing whatever you're doing. So it's whatever. I get it. I get it's COVID times. You couldn't have a concert or anything like that. But you know what? That's whatever. I'm okay with it. Now let's actually talk about the football. So, again, more bland, bare bones stuff out there. But we did see the debut of Caleb Williams. Jameson, your thoughts on Caleb Williams?
Yeah, I mean, it's helpful when he wears the blue jersey and you can't get touched, but he still looked like an athlete and he could run all over the defense. We know that he is a dual threat quarterback. He's not Kyler Murray's speed, but the way he looked on the football field, he's got football speed. He does really well and gets out of the pocket and looked better than Spencer Rattler, honestly, that day. Obviously, he's not better than Spencer Rattler, but it was really cool to see a lot of our freshmen show up.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really fun to see the new guys in there. That's the only really cool thing to me about spring games. And there are a couple people acting like, oh, maybe we put Caleb Williams in instead. No, Rattler didn't care about this. He was just hanging out, flinging the ball around with a bland offense. One of those dry Popeyes biscuits level offense. No flavor whatsoever.
You're gonna piss off some people.
Who, the Popeyes people? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get a Popeyes.
No, we already pissed off Iowa. Louisiana's coming strong right now.
Hey, Tulane's coming up. Let's just get it going on that. I can't make fun of the angry wave. He's too cool.
I forgot. Ty's already bashed all of Louisiana before he even knew that I was from there.
It's objectively the worst state, for sure. Jameson is the only good thing I think that's ever come out of it, I guess.
Is it really better than Mississippi, though? Or are you just biased against it?
Is it better?
I think the new health thing is they were 50th, Louisiana, but Mississippi is close. But if you're just talking in general, I mean, there's a clear correlation there. And then Oklahoma's 48th, if you want to talk about that too. So
you know what the difference is, though, is Oklahoma has, at least you can find good food here. So there's, some justification for it.
Are you going on an – wait, hold on. Hold on. Ty chose violence. Okay, Louisiana doesn't have good food? You're just not a Cajun food guy or what?
It's not as good as, Oklahoma barbecue. He's from Louisiana. He's a noted Louisiana shill, so don't listen to him.
But Look, I don't even know if Oklahoma barbecue is that great. It's good.
It's not. It's all
better
right.
than Louisiana Cajun food.
It doesn't have an identity though. It's like half Kansas City, half like Texas. It's kind of in that no man's land in the middle. But Louisiana is there's only one place in the world you can get gumbo or like that of that quality. You can't get a po' boy of that quality anywhere else. It's next level stuff.
I don't think so. There's a Bubba Gumps in San Francisco.
Oh my God, Ty. All right, you're just trolling now. All right, Ty's just trolling. But all right, back to the issue at hand. Caleb Williams. So Ty, how much of that? I want to hear your rant. How much of Caleb Williams was the fact that he was running around in a blue shirt and nobody could touch him
against like the third and fourth string like defense, or like the guys that probably won't even be on the team in the fall? No, so I think the blue jersey obviously. There seem to be some designed runs in there, which that's not really his fault if we're going to call a designed quarterback run. But what I like to see was the effort. We touched on Spencer looked like he did not even want to be there. Like it was below not caring. Like he actively didn't want to be there. It kind of seemed like. But Williams looked like he was excited and wanted to show out and use that really small opportunity to show what he has and to get some reps in. So that was good. Yeah, the stats. It's the spring game, so
yeah. I also, I will say another guy who kind of showed up and what wasn't flashy, but I really liked seeing bits and pieces of him. Really liked Mario Williams as well. Jameson.
Yeah, aside from his fumble in the backfield, but he looked really good. Everything that was advertised that you just can't hold him off the line of scrimmage. He's just going to get open every single time, and that is a very big thing for us moving forward. In the wide receiving room, we need another guy that can take the attention off Marvin Mims so that he can go on a deep route, take the top off. And Mario Williams, if he can be a short yardage guy, played like Sterling did in his early career, if he can just get open and just get a game where it's like five catches for 45 yards, and then have Marvin Mims getting the big targets and downfield catches, that's exactly what you need.
Absolutely. And another receiver who I wouldn't say was consistent, but definitely had the play of the day. In my opinion, Jaden Hazelwood with a really, really good catch. Ty, does that make you feel any bit better about that? That class? You think we'll see a big leap from Hazelwood next year?
He could always catch. He had a knee injury. You can catch in a wheelchair.
For sure. I'm just saying. Do you think
No, that was a really good. It was a good catch. The guy in front of us was super excited about it. But yeah, I sincerely hope, that he's better and can live up to his hype this year, just for him individually and then for the team as well. So that is always exciting to see stuff like that, to see that effort being put in. So, at least mentally he's wanting to get in the game. So hopefully his legs hold up.
Yeah, we saw one cool thing. That's all I'm looking for out of here. One really interesting player, probably my favorite, maybe not my favorite. I'm not sure yet, because Key Lawrence was still pretty good. But Eric Gray, the Tennessee transfer running back, had a really nifty touchdown. Jameson, between him and Lawrence, which was your favorite Tennessee product performance?
Yeah, I love Gray. Like I said, just watching his tape from last year, you just see how he could be so special in this offense. And I said when we first got him, we did a podcast, I was like, I like him more than Kennedy Brooks, straight up. I would hope that we'd start him and play him more. And at the beginning of this game, there's a half second I thought Kennedy wasn't even going to play. He honestly was not getting as much snaps. I think it's going to come down to a split carry, dual running back room, where beforehand, I obviously am over analyzing the spring game, which could mean nothing. I thought it was going to be Kennedy 75%. They'll sprinkle everybody in. Now, I truly think Eric Gray is going to get a lot of carries, and you can tell that the coaching staff really likes him.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked him a lot. That touchdown was just really electric. And keep in mind it is a spring game, but he just has this vision that you really like to see out of a good running back. Ty, thoughts on the backfield?
Yeah, Gray obviously is going to be huge for us, like you guys talked about. I don't think there's, he's coming in with a season at Tennessee to kind of for us to look at. So I don't think it's too unreasonable to look at his spring game performance and get excited about it. We knew he was going to be good coming in, and that's, losing some depth for extracurriculars like we talked about last podcast. There's no reason to dwell on it. It's good to see that we're going to have a really big someone that we can lean on as a RB1.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that a lot. So let's talk about the defense real quick before we move on, shift subjects, because again, these spring games are tough to talk about, particularly after they've had a couple weeks to like kind of pass. Jameson, a lot of discourse on Twitter that entire weekend was just in how different the defense looked from a size perspective, the type of athlete they had out there. Were you impressed to see some of these younger guys get some burn, and how does that defense look to you?
Yeah, that's hopefully our front seven is going to be our strong suit. The one of the most interesting things going into this year is seeing probably the free safety room might be the most interesting battle. But then next up, honestly, is nickelback. And Billy Bowman, the way he played, the way he showed his athleticism was real. He had a really nice PBU. He was running kickoff returns, showed his athleticism there. And a lot of this spring game, these guys, you've been talking about them in recruiting all this time. And as soon as they put on a number and a helmet, you're like, you see this guy and you're like, who the heck is this guy? And luckily they had the little nifty QR code next to us with the roster that I could look it up. But I said, who is this guy? He has ankle socks on and he doesn't have any accessories. Who's this number 5? And Billy Bowman looked really good. I honestly thought it could have been a walk-on at first, but then I realized it was him. Great player, and is going to give Credell some push.
Yeah, absolutely. And we knew Bowman had the potential to really do something there. And, just seeing him on the field, you got the bump from this is my first time putting on an OU jersey sort of energy. But, he definitely is the athlete that he's been cracked up to be, at least. He's just the type of guy you really need back there to really, shore up a defense that has been traditionally not very big on the secondary. So would love to see more out of him. Ty, your thoughts on the defense? Anything really stand out to you as the game progressed?
Yeah, honestly, I think on the defensive side, it's almost harder to get an estimate in the spring game than it is for the offense. Because I think that like not going all out really affects the defense a lot more. Especially in the areas of the defense that we really want to see, the secondary and the linebackers really there. So it was cool to see, Caleb Kelly out there again. Hopefully, I have fingers crossed that he'll put it all together this year. And we can't go the whole podcast without mentioning the fact that Lincoln Riley, the offensive coach, was wearing a Speed D shirt the whole time. So. And he actually had like a Speed D like pullover or like sweatshirt on and a t-shirt under it that he had taken off. So I know there were some jokes there, but I think that he probably did that on purpose.
Oh, totally.
He wanted those pictures, in the media of him wearing that shirt to make a statement. So.
Well, and it was planned because, there were some recruits that came in that week and they were very close to committing and then ended up doing it in the past week. We got a safety from a 6'3" safety speed demon from Union, Jaden Rowe. And then we got Kip Lewis from Carthage, Texas, who's a 4-star linebacker. He was doing that all because of the recruits, pictures, media. Yeah, but he knew that he had the big time defensive guys in, and not to talk about 5-star defensive back Gentry Williams out of Tulsa too, that he's trying to poke at.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big recruiting weekend. It always is. And, I love seeing that effect because we've had hyped up spring games where, you really don't get that boost afterwards. So to see at least a little bit of a bump for a lot of these guys, I don't know how much people have been able to travel. I think I'm not even sure if official visits are still on right now. I don't know. When does that lift, Jameson?
All of them will be starting in June. So our big weekend is going to be the 18th to the 20th, which is our Champion Barbecue weekend. And we're going to have like 40 kids at least, or some ridiculous amount of number of people in there. And it's going to be headlined by Malachi Nelson, the number 2 player in the nation, number 1 overall quarterback in 2023, who's getting close to deciding his commitment will probably come this summer. And he's bringing his best friend, who have already claimed to be a package deal, who is an extremely athletic 5-star wide receiver. So even though that's not this recruiting class, that's all the eyes are going to be on that as well.
I mean, that's just incredible. I kind of wish our transition wasn't as smooth as it was, because I would have loved to bring out the Borat, but that's for regular season stuff, I guess. Anyways, that's all I got for this spring game. It was pretty garbage, if you ask me. I don't know how you fix it. Ty, what would you do to make the spring game more interesting? Is there anything that you can make, or like anything you can do to actually, spruce this thing up?
Probably the biggest thing was I didn't understand why security was like the same amount of time or longer than a regular season game when there's like 4 times the people there. It was kind of confusing. But I think it's just because everyone tries to go in right at the same time. Other than that, if we could do it at nighttime, have like fireworks and stuff, I don't know. Just have production value. I feel like a night spring game would be a cool like novelty thing.
Yeah, they did it on a Friday a couple years ago, and it was really, really pretty fun. I don't know. Maybe just I'm trying to figure it out. I know people way smarter than us have tried everything. Throwing out just Lee Bryce or whatever. That doesn't work, obviously, but I wouldn't have predicted that one anyways. I don't know, just have random animals racing or something. Just do whatever you can.
Where have you heard of this? Is this just off the top of your head?
It's off the top of my head. I'm trying to think what's the weirdest
like you just watched the Kentucky Derby and you're like, okay, I got it. We're going to have like that corgi race. That's stellar idea.
Yes. Yeah, I'll get the recruits.
I'm going to go watch the corgi races.
I've always thought they could do like a combine almost. Or something like that.
That could hurt those people. If Trey Norwood did that last year and he puts up the numbers that he did even though he got drafted, we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Guys like that are going to get ashamed whenever they got 20,000 people watching them. Because not everybody is 4.4 speed, and when they claim to be 4.4 speed, the watch will get them at 4.6.
You don't want to have the entire crowd go, ugh.
But not like a legitimate like the game ones that they do where it's like a competition and they just get the crowd really into it or something like that.
Like Pro Bowl weekend, how they kind of do like dodgeballs and like the skill competition where they have to like throw.
Course, like for the quarterback setup where they'll run and like throw. Like
that's a really good idea.
That could be. Yeah, I mean that actually is pretty fun. That could be, not like stuff that's actually.
Yeah, I'm not talking like show our hand, like show the actual speeds for everyone, but have like big man races and like stuff like that.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Or I don't know how you would fit it in.
Pulling people down from the stands to like compete against like the players.
Like Hollywood, whenever he took on that one dude.
Yeah, it's just Oklahoma drills over and over with like random kids from the stands.
Oh wait, I like that.
That's what you like.
Yes, we need kids to get concussions in front of everyone.
Buki targeting children over and over. And he's gone.
Ooh, it's incomplete, baby. Let's go.
Oh my god, that's incredible.
Excessively celebrating, like a 10-year-old dropping the ball.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I like that idea. Just whatever the hell that is.
Do you think we can make a Buki reference every single episode throughout the season, even though he's not on our team anymore?
Oh, we'll try our best.
We could just make it a recurring segment where we just talk about what he did that week in Washington.
And what's Buki up to? The Buki stat watch. Oh my gosh. I think that's all you can really say about the spring game. It always kind of sucks, but it's just fun being back in Norman. Even if it is for just a day, always a good time. Yeah, that's all. That's all I gotta say. Ty, I know we're about to pivot to the draft, and
Yeah, I might.
we only have you for a couple minutes here. So anything you want to say before we kind of let you go here? Or,
I'm trying to think I didn't prep for the draft. I just looked at spring game stuff. Um, no, I don't have.
Dude,
you guys can take it. I'll hop off for a smooth transition. So
I'll just go
thanks
ahead
for
and
having me today.
yeah, of course. I'll go ahead and ask you this. So no first round picks for the Big 12. How bad of a look is that on a scale of 1 to 10 to you?
I mean, it's a timing thing for us, right? Like it's the Big 12 is like OU and accessories at this point in time. I think that's what people look at as nationally, and not trying to have like a homer like OU take, like the other teams are irrelevant, but like on the national scale, it's from the outside looking in, like we've won it for the past like 6 years. So I think everyone just sees that OU has a really young team. And that's that. Unfortunate in the long run. I think the Creed Humphrey thing, he for himself should have gone last year when he could have gone potentially in the first round. So that was unfortunate to see him give that commitment to the team and then suffer personally for it for a significant amount of money and
Yeah,
whatever else. So that was unfortunate, but. Yeah, I don't think it's terrible. I don't think that conference recruiting is as important as it maybe used to be, especially with recruiting on really a national scale at this point. I think as long as OU does good, we're a young team. People know that. I don't think it's really going to hurt us.
yeah. I mean, we carry. You're right. We do carry the conference, and that is definitely a big part of it. But yeah, Ty, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate your time, and glad we could get your opinions on. I'm all in on the Oklahoma drill. We can even, Buki's still an OU, like will be an OU grad. We could just bring him back, after he, goes to the NFL, and he can just target children. It'll be great. I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna head out. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, see you around, Ty.
Hey, let me hop in on this topic that we were talking about earlier,
Of
Ty,
course.
about the Big 12. Here's the thing with that is OU, it might hurt them on the on the outside because people will look at that and there's going to be teams that are going to say, why would you go to the Big 12? Why would you go to OU? You can see how many people came from Georgia last year and went in this draft, an absurd amount. Alabama, absurd amount. But look at OU. OU just has to get that voice and say the counter of, look how many people we had returning this year. It's because of that. And we still got, the majority of our guys that were projected to be draft picks, they got drafted, except for Adrian Ely. And if you're looking at the Big 12, Texas is notorious for taking guys that are, you thought Caden Stearns, his freshman year, that guy was going to be a first round draft pick at safety. And disappointing. Traven Murrig, he should have been a first round safety, didn't. Creed Humphrey had first round grades. If one thing went our way, it could have. Like a guy last year, Jordan Brooks from Texas Tech, he slid into the first round, and people did not think that was going to happen. People thought he was going to go third round, late second. It just didn't end up going our way. And luckily, OU at least got 1 second rounder.
Yeah, and I will say, Creed getting in the second was great. Definitely long term a little disappointing, but overall, I think he ended up at a really, really good location for him in Kansas City. Having Orlando Brown newly there as well. I could see him. The draft day disappointment is bad, of course, but what's more important is seeing if this guy can develop into an all-pro guy who shows up year after year after year. In I guess it's not Hawaii anymore because the stadium's condemned, but getting that position is so key. And, I think he's in a position to succeed. It's not the end of the world for Creed. I think that's for sure. But it's a tough look for right now. It's easily maneuvered if the kids you're talking to, really get it, if they're not swayed by, Big 12 sucks. but yeah, it was just a very unique situation where we didn't have a ton of guys, and the two guys we thought were great, kind of slipped a bit with Ronnie Perkins and Creed Humphrey.
I do not know why Creed slipped. He was the third center picked. Behind, I understand Landon Dickerson was really good, but this dude had a huge injury in the SEC championship game. And then you look at Creed Humphrey and what he's been able to do starting as a freshman, then all the way through, and the leader and the captain, and his relative athletic score, as RAS or whatever that stands for, that was like one of the best in the draft. And you don't take a look at him until the end of the second. I think that's just a little suspect. I don't know why the Eagles would go and take Dickerson and not Creed. I mean, choose your poison. They both blocked for Jalen Hurts, but I don't know.
That's true. It's a weird situation. I personally don't get the slide. I think he is I mean, just looking at what he did at OU, 0 sacks his entire run at OU is just insane. But again, it's about that success in the league, and I think he has the tools to do it. I think Kansas City's the perfect place to do it. So hopefully he goes far. Up next, let's talk about Ronnie Perkins, New England Patriot. First of all, what do you think of the fit? Kind of talk about the slide. It's a little redundant from the Creed thing, but your thoughts on Perkins to New England?
Perkins' slide makes a little bit more sense. At the same time, obviously, he shouldn't slide that far, but the way he played in college, he really can't play in New England and in the NFL. He played with his hand in the dirt the majority of the time, but New England drafted him with the idea of being an outside linebacker, kind of stand-up edge rusher. And that's something that Ronnie Perkins hasn't done. He's just so athletic and so gritty that he can just put his hand in the dirt and beat people. But now that people are a lot bigger and quicker, and you're going against Mekhi Becton 2 times a year, things might be a little bit different for Ronnie Perkins. So I understand the slide, and people, whenever there's kind of conduct history, I understand people get drafted all the time. There's a little bit of question mark there. Does Trajan Bridges' new news have any impact on it? Highly doubt it, but maybe just because they're associated together. But Ramondre Stevenson got drafted higher than he was supposed to be. So I think it was just a position thing. He's a tweener, but he's not that kind of tweener like a Derwin James or a Jeremy Chin of the Panthers, though. He's a one step down position where that kind of tweener really hasn't made itself into the NFL yet.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, because it's, that it's such a huge leap at the defensive end or just D-line position, because you have these freaks of nature now are the new standard, 0 body fat, just pure speed type of guys, where it's kind of hard to do that in today's NFL to not be, on that tier of, just a Chase Young sort of thing. But I think he'll be good. I think he definitely has the potential to be on that level. We've seen the type of animal he can be inside. But I like the fit. I think New England's pretty solid. So I think it, the organization is as good as it gets. Definitely some issues recently, to lose Brady and have to restock some of these guys. I think it'll work well for him.
I'll say this. I think New England is one of the best places in this draft, and not the best place to get drafted, because they spend a lot of money on veterans to go and make a push, because Bill Belichick is probably saying, I want to retire pretty soon. So if I'm going to sign people and spend money, I'm going to do it while I'm here because I'm head coach and GM. Ronnie Perkins gets to be with a bunch of veterans like a Kyle Van Noy. I'm pretty sure they got signed there. I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure. And that he can sit behind and learn, and they will be gone in a year or two because they're all just got signed and on like 2-year big money deals. And then he can step in, and once he's seasoned and maybe his body has changed a little bit, and go out and make a difference. So that's a big thing. Ramondre Stevenson too. Let's transition to that. Also getting drafted to the Patriots. Everyone, as soon as you see it, and we made all the comparisons, LeGarrette Blount, what do you know? That he's going to go to the Patriots. That Patriots running back room is a little bit crowded, but Sonny Michel, they just declined his 5th-year option, so he won't be there for much longer. So Ramondre Stevenson has a hole to go out and make make it in a room running back where they do not dominate 20 carries a game. They'll give it to a lot of different people. So he's going to have his shot.
Yeah, absolutely. How perfect could it be? We've been talking ever since Ramondre popped up on our radar. We've been talking about, like you said, LeGarrette Blount. Here he is, same number. I think I haven't seen who has 29 with New England. Same number as LeGarrette Blount had in New England. Same kind of role. I think he's going to be used perfectly situationally for those short down yardage. And it's just a perfect spot. And I got to commend New England and the real GM of the Patriots, Bill Belichick's dog, for loving the Sooners. I knew I liked that dog.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy that he brought him back to get a second year photo, and it gives you a little glimpse of what a Bill Belichick smirk looks like too, which is really funny. But yeah, I think another big thing is Ramondre and how he fits so well in this. Yes, he's a power back. We compare him to LeGarrette Blount, but this dude can catches out of the backfield, and that's something that we didn't think was a huge part of his game, but really did well last year whenever he got into the lineup. And that is what you do in New England. They throw dump downs. James White, Rex Burkhead make a living off of that. And, Ramondre Stevenson, he can put him out there and they're like, okay, yeah, it's power down. They could run that same play and he could take it for 15 yards. We saw all the time with Spencer Rattler last season.
Absolutely. He's going to be an excellent, second, third down type of guy. If you're really, trying to get those extra couple yards midfield. He has the ability to break it open too. He's sneaky fast. And Ramondre, from his first year to his second year, just an incredible leap in performance. And some of it was due to having more time to sit out, but he was great all the way through his time at OU. And honestly, as far as 2-year guys go, he's really one of the best.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And, it also helps him with his draft stock to realize how little he did play with the shelf life of running backs. And that had to be a reason that he went up. He went before Chuba Hubbard. Like, Chuba Hubbard was a guy who's going to be like top of the second round last year, came back, and then the Mike Gundy incident, and then the way he played with no passion, that dude dropped. He went down in the 4th round, and Matt Rule picked him, the Carolina Panthers. And I think that's just because he's seen him while he was at Baylor and saw how dominant he was. But if you watched last season, obviously Matt Rule watched the tape. I'm not saying he's just taking it from where he was. He just had a little bit of a bias because he's seen it with himself in person, in his years in Baylor. He was a different running back last year. He's not the same guy.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of how Matt Rule is. Look at how many Temple guys he has on his roster. Mm-hmm. He's just a guy who goes with what he's familiar with at times. And, Chuba, we talked about it a ton last year. There was no more disappointing player for us than Chuba Hubbard in the Big 12. We thought he was a dark horse type of guy and just really, ever since the OAN shirt got brought out by Gundy, everything went downhill for the Pokes. Just did not go the right way last year. So, I gotta say, like you texted me when he got drafted, it is chef's kiss. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love it.
It was so great. It was so great. And Ramondre deserved it, to be completely honest. If I'm a team, I'm picking Ramondre over Chuba. How crazy that sounds at that point in the draft.
Yeah, just a total collapse from Chuba Hubbard. And, I like the guy. Hopefully he can kind of get back out, do some more things, find his way again, but that's tough. So let's talk about the other 4th round Sooner, Trey Brown. Were you pretty surprised to see Trey pop up here? One of the fastest guys in the draft, absolute burner. Seahawks aren't exactly the Legion of Boom anymore, but what do you think? Do you think Trey Brown actually? What does he bring to the Seahawks here? And more than anything, how surprised were you to see him go here?
Yeah, I was very surprised. Obviously, Trey Brown, PFF graded him very high. You'd always see it retweeted on OU counts that PFF had him graded very high, as a lot of, certain amount of yards without getting catch, blah, 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 all that stuff. But if you just look at the eye test, there's a lot of times where he was just too handsy, got a lot of penalties, got beat, got a little bit better, but he always made the star and flashy plays. Did not think he was going to go 4th round. I think the biggest thing was Seattle whenever they came out. A lot of teams probably viewed him as an inside cornerback because of his size, and that's something he didn't play really at all at OU. Seattle said they'll play him outside. And they'll put him in inside, but they'll play him outside, which was really surprising me to hear. And that's very good news for Trey.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a better fit for him out there for sure. So I think that's a good spot to go, all things considered defensively. Yeah, and again, just what a burner they got for sure. Now let's talk about probably one of the bigger surprises of the draft. I think maybe the biggest for OU. Trey Norwood going in the 7th round. He actually got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, excellent finish to the year. Obviously, had a great performance in the Cotton Bowl. But are you surprised to see Trey Norwood go where he did?
I was. I thought he was going to go undrafted. There's just not his combine numbers. Not combine. His pro day numbers are not something to really bat an eye at. Not good size, not good speed. All of his testables are low. And when it comes down to the draft, people want to pick a guy who has the numbers and then they can go in and fix. You see that all the time. Like second round into the first round DBs are 6'2" speed guys. And obviously that shows you how important is OU's new recruiting style with speed D moving forward. But whenever Tomlin announced the pick, he said Trey Norwood, Oklahoma, Swiss Army knife DB. And somebody texted me before that saying that he was Minka, poor man's Minka Fitzpatrick. And I was like, okay, he's a homeless Minka Fitzpatrick, if we're going to say this, because Minka Fitzpatrick is so damn good. But then he goes to Pittsburgh. So maybe there's just like they respect Minka because Minka, is a guy that's not all up there, but it's a very, very smart player. And that's how Trey Norwood plays the game.
Yeah, I mean, he is really one, especially you saw it as he played more and more at OU. The way he cuts off passing lanes, he is just so smart in coverage, and it's just I don't know. I'm really happy to see him go there, and it's such a such a wonderful, crazy thing to see 2 DBs being picked in the NFL draft after the amount of I wouldn't say slander, but the amount of years of the defensive back position being one of our weakest points. To see that happen, I think
say Mike Stoops. Just say because of Mike Stoops guys.
Yeah, because
that's really what it is. I mean, these are his guys.
It is. But because here's the thing, like you said, same guys, different coach. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
Alex Grinch.
I think Trey Norwood, is really good news. Like I said, I didn't think he was getting drafted, but even there's 7th rounders that don't make the roster. But if you get a draft pick spent on you, owners want to keep you. If it comes down to you versus another guy and it's pretty close, they'll err on the side of the guy that they liked more in the draft. So this is really good news for him making a 53-man roster.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like you said, it's a tough climb to make any roster. Once you kind of get into get past 4th, 5th. But again, it's not a roster invite. Those guys are really scrapping. And it's just good to see him in there. That's a good plus for sure. Any other thoughts on the draft? He was our last draft pick overall for OU. Not a bad draft, all things considered. I would say. We got the extra one that we didn't think we were going to get. So what do you think?
Adrian Ely not getting drafted was a little bit of a disappointment because there were a lot of people who had him graded in the 5th round and he fell. And people probably just saw that even though he played in the Oklahoma offensive line system, there's a lot of things that are concerning. He just doesn't have that high of a ceiling. He's just going to kind of block and just if people come to him, he's going to do it. But he doesn't – there's not a lot of tape on Ely where you just go, wow. And that makes sense why he went undrafted. He got he's legitimately sliding in to where Orlando Brown was lost, the right tackle position for the Baltimore Ravens. So he'll be fighting to try to get a depth piece in that open. Orlando Brown leaving the Ravens probably made it more likely for Adrian Ely to get signed there because they have more, they need more depth in that offensive line room now because they didn't get anyone back losing Orlando Brown. But pretty cool. We see more offensive linemen from Oklahoma going to Baltimore, and plus we have Mark Andrews there in Hollywood, obviously. But another cool thing. But other than that, I don't think that we really had any undrafted free agent big news. that I've heard of from any other players.
Yeah, usually there is like a bit of a burst of undrafted free agents that pop up right after. It was just him from what I saw. Which is it's okay. We didn't have a super big draft class this year. As we mentioned, a lot of guys came back, and the guys who graduated just weren't quite on that tier. And besides, they had a chance to come back, and they did.
Yeah,
but
I think that's the biggest reason, because the people that went to the draft and didn't come back for that extra year or hit the transfer portal are guys that thought they could get drafted in those 7 rounds. Not a lot of people who are just a redshirt senior and their eligibility was up just decided to declare for the draft and get onto a practice squad or a summer squad and hope for the best, because there's really no reason to if you can come back for an extra year or transfer to a smaller school and try to up your stock. So that's the reason there. There's going to be next year, there's going to be a lot. I'm going to repeat, a lot of people that are going to be draft eligible on our team, and we could lose a lot of people. So that's why it is so imperative that this is the year we need to go out and perform really well. Like, I hate to say it, and I've said this on past episodes, like, I would love a championship, but playoff win or bust.
Yeah, I absolutely. And it lines up perfectly. As we keep saying, the roster's there. You have a Cotton Bowl to possibly get into. It's just all right there for OU. Hey, even the national championship is in Indianapolis. So as long as a Big Ten team doesn't get there, yeah, that's drivable. That's Midwestern for you. No one's going to be out there causing a ruckus in Indianapolis. There's nothing really. You have cool steakhouses and stuff, I guess. I'm not trying to make fun of the Indianapolis folk if you randomly come across this.
I would want to go there. It seems like they got a kind of little cool sports district.
Yeah. Did you drive through it on your way to Columbus?
I mean, maybe. I did not remember too much. I remember that Columbus drive not being that bad, like 12 hours-ish. I don't remember the exact number, but, it was not brutal. So definitely not that bad. But let me go over this. These are the players that will be draft eligible into the next season. Spencer Rattler, Eric Gray, Kennedy Brooks, Jeremiah Hall, Austin Stogner, Braden Willis, Theo Weiss, Jaden Hazelwood, Mike Woods, the Arkansas transfer, Tyrese Robinson, Marquise Hayes, Chris Murray, Wanya Morris, Robert Congle, Swinson, Perrion Winfrey, Jalen Redmond, Isaiah Thomas, LaRon Stokes, David Ugwebu, Nick Benito, Caleb Kelly, Brian Asamoah, Deshaun White, Woody Washington, Delarin Turniel, Pat Fields, Jaden Davis. That is like our starting lineup.
That's insane. I mean, that's insane.
Is that like almost our whole starters, like right there? I think that's like everyone.
It is the very top of that depth chart all the way through, and that's the case for a lot of teams because of the eligibility rule from last year, but OU is different because of all the guys that came back and all of these guys who especially at the quarterback position as well, who are so integral to this team. So I don't know, like you said, this is just everything kind of perfectly aligned in a way that it hasn't really at all. Like I wouldn't even say 2017 aligned perfectly because you had P. Ryan and Mixon leave.
Exactly.
It's always like you have one guy who peaks, but then you lose another side of the roster, and then everyone has to kind of come back. This is where it's all perfect. This is where it has to happen. So we're probably going to keep saying that over and over this season, and hopefully OU doesn't let us down. But that's the Sooners for you. We'll see. Jameson, before we go, I want to talk a little hoops here. Your thoughts on Porter Moser's work in the transfer portal? Goodness gracious, what a collection of guys.
I'm so happy the last time we recorded, legitimately that afternoon, so probably by the time it was posted, we already gotten the Groves brothers from Eastern Michigan. So that was extremely clutch. I was very happy to get a Schrute on board coming into Oklahoma. And we got, the ACC Defensive Player of the Year from Duke as well. Obviously, there was a lot of spots open, a new coach in in one of the best basketball conferences. I understand it's probably not the best, but one of the best argumentative wise in the country, and a new coach in a good, good program. There is a lot of opportunity. So a lot of players are going to want to transfer and come here. We still got 2 spots too. And that's the big talk. Are we going to get Trey Alexander from Heritage Hall, who just took his he decommitted and rescinded his letter from Auburn, and then 2 transfers possible. The kid from Ada, I'm forgetting his name, sharpshooter, and then also Bryce Thompson too from Kansas.
Yeah, and Thompson was a guy, OU really wanted him, OSU really wanted him. Definitely wants to kind of be the guy, have a little bit more, be more of a feature in that offense. So we'll see how that goes, because it is a pretty stacked backcourt right now. You got the I don't know if the kid from Kingfisher is going to do much right now, because just Bijan Cortez. Sorry, yeah, Bijan Cortez. He's promising, but I think he probably needs a year, so we'll see how it goes. But I think the ability to recover from that mass exodus that we saw was just that's so nice to see. So the Moser era off to a great start. Looking forward to some of that old Kelvin Sampson offense where we just win 40 to 32. So
honestly, that's really what's going to have to be. We don't have too many guys that can go out and get their own shot right now. The shot creators on this team really worrisome, but we got Harkless still. We got Emoji Gibson, Jalen Hill. But like I said, Emoji Gibson's a great offensive player, but he's not a guy who's going to get his own shot. He's an auxiliary player. Harkless can try to do it and be scrappy with it, but you don't want him to be your number one shot creator. We're going to probably work through Groves down low, and I really hope we get Bryce Thompson. I cannot explain. I think we were number 2 whenever it came down to his pick for Kansas, and there are a lot of teams that a lot of experts thought he was going to go here, and then it shifted. It would be so huge, and I think it'd be great for him to come to Oklahoma. But obviously, there's a lot of talk, other schools too. But Trey Alexander, Bryce Thompson. One of those 2 guys would be great for one of our spots that we have.
Absolutely. I have no reason to doubt it, because Moser's been terrific so far. Got a little bit of that Sister Jean magic rebuilding the roster. I love it. Well, Jameson, that's all I got. And we got the offseason ahead of us. What are we going to do from now until September? I guess next big date, Champion Barbecue, right?
Yeah, we'll have to do a preview before the Champion Barbecue, which is, the middle end of June. We'll do a preview, figure out who all is going there, who do we have a chance, if there's going to be some commitments. We'll go over through all that. Again, we'll probably just have a big recruiting episode, because there won't be anything to talk about. Unless Trajan Bridges gets thrown in jail, which honestly could happen. If y'all haven't read the report on it from the Oklahoman, go and read it. Probably the dude's probably going to jail. I mean, I don't see how a human who does that isn't going to jail. Other than that, we got a big time recruiting episode coming up next month.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna come quick, and we'll be ready for football before you know it. But after this kind of really quick condensed sports rush with the NBA bubble, and then college football, and then NBA right back again, it's going to be weird not having any sports for a while. Going to be a little weird and quiet, I guess. So
I hate that period where there's just no sports. Then it used to be in the summers, like growing up, like I'd watch SportsCenter on repeat. And then it was only baseball highlights. It was just a sad time. I wouldn't realize how sad I was until college football would pop up in the fall, and then I'd be so happy again.
It's like most people have seasonal depression when bad weather, like when it's cold weather and all gray.
Yeah.
With you, Jameson, it's just like all I have is Little League World Series and and like international friendlies to look forward to, because I hate baseball.
Sports affective disorder. It's really serious, guys. With the bad weather thing, all you need for treatment is just a little bit of UV light to trick your body that you think there's some sunlight going on. Maybe if they throw in some summer league Thunder games, that's all I need to get me through.
Oh yes, hey, Poku Summer League, maybe that could be fun. Here's hoping to do a good draft as well. NBA. Credential us. Let's go do it. Let's go do some summer league credentials. We're totally legit. We're totally legit. But anyways, yeah, Jameson, thanks for coming on. And hey, Ty, you're out there somewhere. It's finals week for you. Good luck, man. I definitely don't miss doing tests. I wish you could say the same thing, Jameson.
No, not done. I've got a couple more, to say the least.
And another big congratulations to my favorite pirate lawyer of all time. Shout out Bowden Blake for getting your law degree. Congratulations, man. He's probably not even going to hear this. There's no way.
No.
But
Not until he passes that bar, you'll have some time.
That's true. But either way, even if he had time, he wasn't going to listen to it.
Know.
Yeah, either way. But yeah, we'll find some sort of off-season content.
Yeah.
But until then, everyone, have a good rest of your off-season. Go watch some OU baseball, I guess. We're not bad now. And,
we have a winning record. I'll give us that.
We beat OSU 2 out of 3 times and almost swept them. So I'll take it. OU softball's good. Watch OU softball. They're awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, maybe OU softball pod. That could be fun.
Ooh, yeah. The World Series is going to be fun this year.
Don't take the World Series from me and CAA, please. That's all I got to say. Have a good time. Boomer Sooner.